Welcome back. So in today's class, we will understand some of the finance functions which are inbuilt in Excel. These are simple functions, not so complicated, but knowing that these functions exist in Excel is good. Okay, so let's start with a few of these functions. That is your basically this function. We will start with PMT, but we will see that we can use any of these functions instead of PMT later. So this function is basically useful in calculating the EMI amount or the periodic payment which we make to the in case we have an outstanding loan or depending upon the present value. So PMT stands for payment. Okay, so let's say if I have taken a loan of 5 lakh rupees from a bank at an interest rate of 10% per annum. Okay, the tenure of the loan is 5 years. So if it's a monthly installment, the number of period, okay, the N per stands for number of periods. So number of period will become 12 into 5. That is a year into month per year. My future value is 0. That is the entire amount will go as a part of EMI and nothing will be outstanding at the end of the last payment. So in that case, given this data, I want to calculate what is the monthly payment which will make sure that my loan gets repaid in 60 months. Okay, so I use a function called PMT. It's a simple function, as I said. So it asks me for a rate. The only thing to remember with respect to rate is that rate should be matching with the period which we follow. So in this case, since we are talking about the monthly installment and the rate given to us is an annual, so I have to divide it by 12. Okay, so this becomes my rate. Then as you can see, it's asked me for number of periods. So number of period we have already computed it to be 60. Okay, my present value is 5 lakhs. So since it's okay, let me keep it positive and I'll get my PMT as negative, not a problem. My future value is 0. Okay, type is basically whether the payment is made at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, and it's an optional function. So by default, I assume that all this payment which I am calculating will be made at the end of the period. I close the bracket and I press on enter. So you can see that I get my EMI amount, that is payment, as 10,624, which is a negative amount. It will be a negative amount because I am assuming this present value to be a positive amount, or I can make it vice versa. Now, we all understand, especially if we are finance student, we all understand that this monthly payment which we make, okay, some portion of it is principal and the rest of the portion is interest, right? So Excel also gives you an option to calculate the principal payment in this entire in this monthly installment, right? So let's see how does this PPMT work. So PPMT, again it asks you for a rate will be divided by 12. Okay, it asks you for period. Okay, so here period means that you want to calculate the principal payment for which period. Okay, so if I give 1, it will calculate the principal amount, that is in the total EMI, what is the principal amount in the first installment which I pay. If I give it 4, so it will calculate the principal amount which will be paid in the 4th installment. Okay, in the 4th installment, what is the component of the principal amount, and so on and so forth. So let me put it as 1 for this example. Number of period, again I give 60, present value is 5 lakh and my future value is 0, and I close the bracket. So you see that out of the total installment of 10,624, 6,457 is my principal amount, and as you can guess that the rest will be your interest. Okay, just to cross verify, I also use the formula called IPMT, which works in the same manner as your PPMT, sorry. So it asks me for a rate. Okay, it asks me for a period, that is for which period you want to calculate the interest component. It asks you for the number of period, present value, and finally the future value. Okay, so you get 4167, exactly what we have computed otherwise. So these are the 3 functions to calculate your NPV. Again, you can interchange this function. So let's say if I want to calculate, given the other information, I want to calculate the rate. So you can see that it can calculate the rate and all other informations will be entered by the user, and so on and so forth. So you can use either of this missing data given the rest of the data are available. So you can compute either of this missing data by using one of this formula. Okay. Now future value.